Well, we are just hours away from a special caucus meeting among Senate Democrats to discuss gun safety legislation. It's an urgent push for any action, and joining those lawmakers in Washington, D.C. today is Fred Guttenberg, whose daughter Jamie died in the Parkland shooting in 2018. He is also co-author of the book American Carnage, Shattering the Myths That Fuel Gun Violence. Fred, you're such an important person to talk to on this issue. You're about to talk to those lawmakers again. We've been covering here one mass shooting after another, and yet this issue is still just a big political football. You have the former president and leading candidate for the GOP nomination for 2024 saying how he would handle additional gun safety measures last night. Take a listen to this.
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very much harden. And I'm a very believer. I believe in teachers. I love teachers. Many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-soldiers, ex-policemen. They're people that really understand weapons, and you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards, you have to harden your entrances. You have to make schools safe.
What's your response to that?
Well, I ignored him last night, and I think America needs to ignore him going forward. But here's a response. I've been here since Sunday, meeting with every office, Republican and Democrat in the House and Senate. And I've done a bit of media this week as well. And I've said all week, stop listening to the liars. Stop listening to Donald Trump. He's one of the liars. Everything he said is factually false. And so I'll just say this. My daughter should be turning 20 in July. 20 years ago, there were 200 million guns in America. Today, 20 years later, there's over 400 million plus ghost guns. 20 years ago, AR-15 sales were fewer than 2% of all guns sold. Today, they are 25% of all guns sold. That's everything you need to know to understand gun violence. The reason we wrote the book is to talk about how we got here, the lies and the myths that brought us here, and what we need to do going forward.
I understand you're not listening to Donald Trump, and you're urging people not to, but too many in his party are listening to him.
Sure.
And they're afraid to break with him.
Yeah. Listen, so I said I've been here all week, and I've been in every office in the House and the Senate. While here, the Democrats actually invited me to come speak to the caucus. The Republicans have walked by. They are so afraid of a base that for whatever reason has replaced facts with alternative facts. And that's who they speak to now. I'm tuning all of them out. 80% of America agrees with me. 80% of America wants to do something about gun violence. And any legislator who does not get connected with what the 80% of America wants, you're gonna get voted out. The 24 election is the election to finally settle this, and I have the absolute belief, okay, that Americans are going to turn out in record numbers. Listen, Anna, this is a book about gun violence that we wrote. It's not a novel, it's not a mystery, and it's one of the top-selling books in the country. And I say that because it just says Americans want to understand how we got here in only 20 years and what we can do about it.
I think that's the key, the last part there, and yet I think it's so frustrating because we keep banging our head on the walls as we cover these shootings, and it's getting worse, not better. But this week in Texas, days after that horrific shooting in Allen where 8 people died, we did see rare GOP votes in the State House of Representatives in favor of a stricter gun law that would raise the purchase age of AR-style rifles in that case. How do you see this? Is it a sign that the tides are turning perhaps on the Republican Party's stance on gun control?
Well, it is a sign that there still are people in the Republican Party who really do value life and who want to put the ability to stop the next shooting over and above the ability to support a lobby that profits off of the death of people like my daughter. And so I am so thankful to those 2 Republicans who did actually vote the way they did. We need more courage and more Republicans like them. I don't think we're going to find it until the Republicans in 24 take a shellacking and it becomes clear that it was because of this issue.
Fred Guttenberg, I just have to say it again. I'm so sorry for your loss. I can't imagine being in your shoes as a parent and losing my own children to gun violence, but it is a tragic thing that hangs in the back of my mind because of where we're seeing gun violence happening everywhere now. And I appreciate you taking time to discuss today. Thank you.
Thank you.